much as been recorded and published in videos. Today is May the 29th, Friday 2020. This is 1543, where as much still were systemically conditioned and kidnapped, often in Buenos Aires. And have been serving this at the line of our communication systems. I am so wide and so division, like they would do and they would rob them. Just to come into having a little moment. JHA'I KADOISH. Your Majesty's HA'JAI, Israel, Your Honors, people, right there, Justice Parties. You know, there is so long ago I don't do this, and you've asked me to do. And like naturally comes the whole of the moment through as much the vivid disasters that I've been through and so painful, and suddenly I am not feeling so comfortable. Ever. Further, any other, further, whatever this is. This is the D-Day, the way we know is finished. We had another sprout in the way for certain problem I came on telling and working out. I need you to have the schema which I'm found to send you already everything reached safe and very fine. Where Redemi crateless, which LIAISON Offive with Interpol are going to be working about this new event and this new situation. I've sent it to the whole people, and I'm going to watch for any residual, if anything to watch just in a moment. You know, you wanted to tell me we've been with so much events since the last video I've just delivered, and I've been always under harassment and under this systemic kidnap and systemic attempting against my person, also for and still the sickness of Kirchners with evangelicals, Argentina, victims of part of the way we know, and Policía Federal Argentina, Armed Forces Argentina, Policía de la Ciudad de la República Argentina de Buenos Aires, and Ejército Argentino, Armada Argentina, and then society, the way you know. So the Mason sickness, Argentina, and then lineages, and then ancestrals, and then delusional sick mother, sorry the words, naturally the sons of a crib, this disgusting sicknesses, continue naturally over making the whole that they are doing to me and seeking for all classes of the ways that I will rob them and imitate the girls of armed forces, and I will need medication and they will send because of what I'm not in now, which at the best here seems fairly one order coming, and we're over that. Everybody's going to talk to my mother, but the problem is that it's not talking about the change in here, that I have the last person that I'm going to watch. What does it got to do with this whole, that you know is not life, reproduction of faces, and I will be so loony, but they've been killing, murdering people all so far I will be that whack. And I wouldn't have the capacity, and I will imitate the perras enfermas of Armed Forces Argentina and evangelicals. But I wouldn't be the announcement which were since Abraham until today, but JHA'I to Israel, that I will come. Now, the reality is, they are the sopranos, they are the tenors, they are the whole that distinguishedly for the range of voice and the capacity and the whole that description wouldn't be me, because of they didn't know me, because of they would be the authority of God, evangelicals, and the whole degenerado enfermo argentino. Then the reality is that I would be liar, here and whatever, because of they are degenerados enfermos. And then the reality, I'm sorry for this, is exactly we have the situation. But we forward it. As the way you know, Armageddon has been through the whole days of pains and dolours for us. And every time and every day, we're a son of a snake, which we're keeping the third real capacities and collaborationisms, and also participating in memberships, seeking for the shares on the genocides and whatever they could rip out from me, and putting me like the core for the whole of the even, because of they knows who I am, the same you. Now, the reality for the devil is exactly the slut of Babylonia, evangelicals Argentina, and no lie, and continue making the sickness the way they are, and going all over from here and there with who collaborated in them up for what tools, but with contained. And now I'm going to finish. I've sent the last person. I'm going to watch for a little bit, and I don't need nothing else. It's exactly one couple of minutes of work, and I'm done. So the reality is, forgive the words and my anger and my laughing, and I'm sick of all the way, have been through so much and have been having disgusting things the way and I am with this person which complains and behaves just like the others, and I don't care how the possibility also for the similar voice, but her genoma, and not a clone, has nothing to do with the first changeling, which were the woman that raised me up like my mother, not being her. Now the reality of Argentina doesn't learn except by being dead, but they already are dead, and they are going to seek for what it's not given away, I told you. And they are going to continue because of they says they has rights and they gotta be, not me. Then this reality for the sickness of Argentina has made up for about 974 millions of extra cases about my person that I will be the whole that they says, and also a China Steel, a drug addict because of Policía Federal Argentina researches, and also Ejército Argentino and Evangélicos, and everybody said the same. But the cake is too big. And I will be the goldenest product for them to take whatever they want. For them delusional sickness over the culture and the sense of them pelvises and the cheeks. So, comes to telling me, Lord here, Lord there, but are exactly classified very abominable one and another, and no one stops, and it's exactly they goes to hell. So, the reality of this will come a very social worker from government of the city of Buenos Aires to noticing that I could have internated because of it's just a briefing for disciplinary actions because of Policía Federal Argentina and Policía de la Ciudad demands for I insult them over what they takes me for I will ever have to submit and shut up because of they will be the power, threatening to killing everybody if I will say anything or just move. And not only me. Then, the reality of this, la polisucia, el general de guardia, y todo enfermito acopiado, Sodoma y Gomorrones, y su maldita prostituta babilónica, el mejor ejercicio evangélico argentino, sorry victims, is exactly where it's going to go to hell. And further my consequence, you remain where I told you, because of we still have a high, and I'm still who I am. Not saying that I will be, neither need to be a murderer, I'm going to choose work. It's a word, they're going to know that sooner. Now the reality is, I am being object and bite by them for the whole of the sickness they does, but I will need medications. And I will imitate them also with this video and the whole which every time and I will rub them my voice and the whole that I exist and I am because of wouldn't be me to be. But evangelicals gave them and also Luciano Doriano. But, the liars, the general Veniano. Then, the reality of this land is exactly they dies and we're so long sustained and served for working so much collaboration as this that I already put it out. And I need you to be strong and I need you to understand that this is exactly justice we do. And this is over. And then, prison to prison, the way justice to be, and the sickness where the hell awaits. Then, reality, sneezed, my Tourette, I'm sorry, and I'm autistic as well, and I have that moment over. They think that they can make it the criteria for the whatever they says they diagnosed this over my person because if I will ever have the complete of the standards what the psychiatry of the quacks of the season of the whole Mason mother 6 son of a hell crib of a shit about they says that I gotta have for their business me and about everything knowing who I am for also Borda at the last medical kidnap less humanity against my person and the last genocide over that which participated by the ones that we put her apart have been noticed by Israel in person, calling me remarkable, from El Jai. And everybody knew, and came with the cropping shared over, I got to accomplish in Argentina, nobody tells us here what to do. And everyone is exactly seeking for the murder, genocide, Israel, and the whole of the humankind, for the taking what they says, it's ours, not them, because of I will not be who I am, because of they will ever have the benefit of a chick, of a prostitute, sick, abominable, declaring that El Jai will be called like Sodom and the disgusting of Nabucodonosor, and then Daddy Lucifer told them to. And comes with that of Jesus, which is exactly that insult, the burst lestes for the weight of the balls and the boner of Sodom for powers, and the blowjob bed. That's what Jesus' name means, and he's not I. And Kadoish, Kadoish, Yeshua, only Hebrew. And Chai Kadoish, Elachai, Par, HA'JAI, Mashiach, and Adon Melech HaMelechim. Like the Mel Gibson's movie that were called The Passion, and after forced to put in the Christ. And Christ means the one that goes to destroying and killing what is over high, the alive God, to take him for self-kingdom, profaning and destroying and making sacrificials to place themselves, as if that would be a right required. And Ha'JAI is not that. Mashiach Kadoish Adon Melech Malkeinu Elokeinu Elokai, our God, our eternal God, holy, my eternal God, holy, Mashiachenu, our Messiah, royal Kadoish, Eloheinu, our God, Eloi, my God, Adonai, my Lord, Adonenu, our Lord, Yeshua HaSaret, and Evanche Merlusa, de la maldita braguetusa, gentusa, sorry my terms, and I will say the best ever appropriation that they thirst to sing to me, that they are going to be forever. On the series of the sickness that also Jehovah, that Nabucodonosor established, for he will be above the sacrificing whole of the reality of his blood and royal lineages, and also his name, and also will reach him, like Babylon with the arrow, and the whole of the lounge with the sacrifice over blood, to reach the heaven above, to try to put God down and show him that he will be powered because of everything will answer to them, because of Lucifer have done the work previous and during the fall. So the realities are the things that can put me down, and to hold which is of HA'JAI and his name, to try to reach, to drag, to pull down, to try to push, and to make the whole of the effort for the blood, for the sickness, for the dirt, for the impureness, for the whole that makes the sovereignness, to trying to defeat, which the effort of Adolon Luciano Troviano on flesh and bone, the Chinoma, which Mon Ra Temple and Ra Temple described for a clone were, and corruption DNA made by Masons, especially Argentina, with evangelical scholarship. Then the beast, Krakesh, Luciano Troviano, poor little kid, with a very blefotre assassine seva, like a very snake, making the whole of the abominations and certain other attributions, which commanding anyone to watch him to face and know him will ever have to be dead and have to be killed. Comes to me these sluts of hell, these abominable freaks, to profaning me day and night and saying that they transfuse my person, my existence, because of they wouldn't allow me inventing whatever the goddamn shit, for I will be punished by God himself, for they to possess who I am, and they will make me. And they will introduce whatever they want to my person. So they're continuous on making the same class of sicknesses, and they continues to try to take them wherever they want. But the reality is, I'm going to put them in a hell, and it's going to be right now. This is going to be over, and they've been supported, and they are going to die. And I'm going to make my work. And it's now. It's over. Now, the reality is, they are trying to pull me where they need. I to be on the court for they continue making what they need. Because they has a lot of supporters, but I put them all out, and I'm moving with all I can for making what I will do. So the realities of this is, everything has an end, but with God, the realities are eternal. Full over. Then now, at the clear fact for what this is exactly introduced, and at the clear fact for what this is exactly happening to come to be, at the clear fact for what this is exactly to be, I have begun to make exactly the right way. And this is finished forever and ever. Not anymore. The realities are that these degenerados are making anything to try to genocide the delivering that they are the ones of the right, but the ones who exist for the right to be. And this is not much going to change. And I am going to put them in hell. Now the reality is, I will underestimate them and they will be superior to me. I'm going to make my job, and I'm going to check is about this brief video is exactly certain requests meant, and this is sounding, and that is sounding, and it's sounding my second and first line, even though it seems like a very crazy, whack lie. So at the reality of the seasons, I introduce my days over the making what this now is going to be done. And then, this is going to be the way it gotta be. So, clearing for the whole that they are doing and continue making, and still unknown, the clear fact of our days are defined and defined, but not like they can say or try. Only LIAISON and the best that we exist for. Then clear fact for this, toward the whole, continued with the whole of the sickness and also trying to reach to Israel to denouncing that the Ejército Argentino and Armada Argentina, SIDE, Servicio de Inteligencia del Estado Argentino, and Policía Federal Argentina with Ministerio de Seguridad y Defensa Argentino, and Los Fernández, and even Alberto Fernández, keeps on researching that I will be the terrorist of the AMIA, and threatening they to attach. And the coronavirus invented for were not coronavirus, but a biological weapon, the parvus virus from cats and dogs, modified for the being a very enormous destruction over what it causes with the real symptomatologies that destroys membranous tissues over the complete of the mucosas. And makes a very enormous fever, makes a very enormous bother, and flushes all over toward any other disease to get inside. And also destroys the EPF in cortex for brain. So what the reference for this is exactly one essential for we to understand. The realities we must ever consider is that they've been also making this for a business, naturally for everybody to depend on, threatening to killing everybody because of they hostaged us once more. And coronavirus were exactly the essentials for they will be crowned on glory. We will defeat us. But I will deny it, but the problem is that they've been pouring hand and saying that that was in Buenos Aires, whatever the number, whatever the reality is following, chasing me and persecuting me all over because of they has to possess me too, making what they says gotta do. While I just move through and away, even though such a very supposed sick and they will ever have to attach to get in field and making the whole of the orders and let's capture that. Over the realities that everything will be just defined by them and nobody says it. So at the hour of this, hantavirus will be exactly the emulation for corona. It's a pandemia and they are pouring all over for this to happen. And also bugs, insects, entomology that covers the complete of the viruses. No Boston, no coronavirus that they've named. In Buenos Aires, none. Except for them operational, for trying to make the hysteric and neurotic and you see they are dying, no one of you, I'm not this part of them, what is it, your cat? And comes with such a damn shit. So the realities for this is not only class of a thing, but they were genociding us and murdering us and making a whole of the sickness. And no one ever is going to stop. I will stop them. So this is exactly, they continue with the I will be internated or in jail. But until I will be captured, putting in jail in the whole of the Perra Servil, Argentina, we're not going to talk to the mother, we're going to speak to the mother, but the mother which the real, not the one here. And continues to try to invading every place and knowing what do we do and what do I do. For the, he's throwing shots with my country, that's not him. We are him, not himself. Sorry, but it's exactly what they define and they says gotta be. When every perra recuerda enfermita de buenos argentinos, especially Kirchner's, evangelicals, and then parties and families over is another jurisdiction. We cannot say I only obey for my chief of state. Nothing else to say. International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice doesn't have nothing to do with this. If they want to say anything, we have an international law. Yet in Interpol, we are state of rights. I'm sorry. Then the reality for this is exactly the sickness that we know. And they are Mason, they are imperialism and hermetism, and they are going to crash to the hell. And I'm going to put them really sunk down. Ever after Shana. So the reality of them government, of them world, it's going to be the best prestigious of the best of a feast of the cut and discussing Ramesses the second mommy, the whole of the lineage of Kirchner. And it's not a lie. And the lineages of the goddamn disgusting Nabucodonosor evangelistas of Argentina, Buenos Aires, and Salem, victims apart. And the whole of the sickness abominable freaks of La Berra, Poncia Pilatos, them Best Buy, and them Daddy Lucifer, the Robertito, Baguette, making exactly the reality forwarding, I will the liar, but everything in front of the judgments and the trials of hate that everybody says on secret of state and summary secrets to be happening and evangelicals will define, comes everything at plan, which exists as flesh and blood, whatever this is, to show. And so the judgment and the justice happens. What is right, what is shit. Ills, damned, sorry not terms. Then the realities here are, sorry, we've finished. And they are not going to stop, and they will be stopped. And this is over. And especially the perras enfermas, psicóticas y psicópatas, degeneraditas, Fuerzas Armadas, declaring that they are going to be me and the kingdom of Israel and the whole of the kingdom of heaven because they're going to show that they, making the whole of the infrastructure of the whole of the transferences of the evangelicals because of they have the power in terms of saying of God. Or they will be the highest ever exponential for the right over the testimony to not doing nothing but being sluts over the whole of the secret places, hanging for whatever the boner over whatever uniform and militar de general enfermito sodomita argentino, which provides them the possibility for organizing and making the strengthening folk levities for the favor that they makes the highest ever exponential for the worship, honor, and giving the right orders. The lesson Argentina demands. Due obeyment. Then they are alright because of they will be the authorities and they just subjects and that is justifying and everything's my guilt because if I don't stop to doing what I do and I do not submit because of it will be just rolling video for I will be just a witness if I will be me. And they will ever have because of they are the power charge. And our sluts going all over whatever the corners, making the slut every hole that they have for whatever the sickness, this enfermo, the generados abominable, making with them, for stimulating it out, for motivating it out, and for they to be part and another, accomplices for the sickness abominable that they are, and it's not a lie, them sciences so dumb, and them specials and them shit that always happen, the whole of the raping and sacrificial. Imperialism permanently was. And at the hour of this all disgusting shit that they will domain life and death over making the class of a sickness of so dumb science comes to me with a class of a shit and I will never have to submit and takes back everything that they've done because of at this moment everything were known and they got to remaking every laboratory understanding and studying first intelligibly for whatever this was and whatever this is. And I will need the medications because of there is a law and there is a gas and cannot let the medications because of police has that way because of I am obsessed on them and I continue with militaries and police and whole and I have a problem of my mind and it's all psychiatric. And this is exactly the class of a shit that must be rotting in hell and so will. And this is over. So at the moment of this idea and at the moment of this hour, the situation comes different. And this is exactly finished. Then, at the point for this, exactly at the understanding coronavirus on the quarantine for the length of times, they've genocided people. And were no plague, were themselves making many hungry. And making this strategy for everybody will be submitted, for everybody will come to support and help poor ones. And they will be responsible and they will adapt us to listening that you don't help us and we have a problem. Nobody has to come here. I've done it now and I've done the vaccines and everybody's healing. And everybody's fine. And the shit won't have no vaccine except the goddamn grave of the hell. And they think that they can get everywhere and they can decommising space stations and crafts and planets and the stellar persecution of Christina Kirchner to Christina Kirchner from all over, and especially about my person, I am in my accomplices, my parties. And comes with that less of a shit that they are the upright and they controls because of anyone will ever have a psychiatric problem to just adjust a little bit because of for that is. But anybody can go through that. And I do not accept it, I refuse, and I continue making damages because of I also have powers and says of God for making damages and they cannot have But the power is me. That they define and they says, my person, and comes with any class of a shit extra for whatever the argument of the 920 million 2004 schools of perrazo, maricazo, degenerado y vivorazo, gomorrazo, Fuerzas Armadas Argentinas and them families, and Ejército Argentino, with evangelicals and Kirchners, to making whatever the shit about the invest what they are doing to me, which the last school I just sent. The formation of supposed officers of the police and the forces in base of what they can do to me, also for them signs of marica de regenerado reventado, at the hour for making profanation for whatever the sickness stellar summer witch over possessing for the terror about to giving to Argentina the highest of our glory, in base of what they are doing to me. And I will be medication. In this way, it's medication for they comments in the other state that here is not all what I do and nothing to say when I offend. And I'm going to put them in a hell and I'm going to kill them all. But why? This is serious. And we got to be careful. Okay. You want to know to give you a little bit. I have a problem. And she's going to open the door and this is going to be blowed up, the video, and it's going to be like embarrassment else. One old lady, which is not my mother, came through the door to saying, "Can you stop it? Can you slow down the voice? Don't you scream. The whole of the neighbors is going to have a problem. And the whole of the neighborhood is going to know. And that's going to be an order denounced that we're already done because of there is disturbing the street Moreto at that place where I'm living. For the neighbors said so. It's a riot all over and it's a person with problems. So gotta be detained and delivered for the psychiatric unit immediately and handle the family cat and watch the whole that other jurisdiction said that everyone denounces true as well. Of course. You get it then. Sorry for this and I am sick of all. Forgive me please. And also my neurosis and my need to kill them now. Alright, they wanted to put me out of the place where I were, but I am in the place that I were. And I'm going to put them out from the whole existence, whatever, and that's all. Forgive me for, I have an invasive condition for 9,009 and PNT locked already. CECNT locked, click lock, active on, locked, click lock, execute. Just two, just one, 3 in the chat, 1 out, 1 and a 1. Sorry, and I continue. Alright, hi Nick, marvelous. Okay, I'm going to work about the situations and this is over. Forgive me please, and supposedly I'm the liar because of they are continuing. But so I keep on. Whatever happens from this now on is exactly, this is finished, the whole of the sickness got to be death. And from death got to be over, and from over is exactly payments and payments to the hell, and it's finished ever after. Everybody. Sorry for this, we've done the job, the whole humankind, which for justice is delivered for rights as life, and also restitution for rights as persons, as existential persons, for rights as existence, and the whole which deliberately were the decision of the real Almighty Holy God, with the real justice, legitimate and legitimate states, with legitimacy for the sovereigns and legitimacy we are, were established and is finished. Nobody else. And if anyone, I'm going to see it. Sorry for my wrong English. I'm going to see it. So, the reality for, sorry for my disasters, and I really am. Long ago I don't do a video, and I am with the whole of the creeping out already and feeling so sick of all and in a dementia way, in a dimension way that I never imagined this would come. Suddenly it's just one moment, and I'm going to do my job, I promise you. Alright, I'm not sure what's going to happen. You wanted a little bit of. Am I supposed that I fake the voice, and I fake it here, and I twist, and I make the forging, while they've stolen my computer from inside my house, putting another change in, which supposedly will be my mother, making a scandal and irritated, and so neurotic and evangelic, disgusting freak slut. Sorry for this, which went to prison. Over giving them space and entrance for taking complete my backpack. Another, the black of what I void over the work of AMI Argentina. Over the corporation and giving job to people for they produce and they're making something we can't live through. And with my laptop that I void in Compumundo, but TV shop, not TV shop, but teleshop, on my address line over Abasto, once they were in Abasto because of the crisis delivered for the closing and everything were like a restin. from the activities a lot of people just broke. And they've just stood in some spaces, some stores around Buenos Aires, and so few, like no more than 4. Then the reality where they suffered with a Vortex 7 inches Israeli industry tablet and an Acer Aspire 3 Core i3 over 19,700 or 900 pesos in 12 payments with the credit card of what it will be my mother on MasterCard Nativa Nación, Buenos Aires, 12 payments of 1,716 pesos. And what an offer, and I had been using it all not longer, 1 year perfectly, sent the original with legals of Acer, International Criminal Court, and states forwarding what my problem about what they were about doing. I've just made 1 replicas with documentation and protocoler, and I've been using a legal, mine, void device. And as well, a tablet, Samsung, which were a gift from what it used to be supposedly will be my sister, Gloria Elena Blanco, Redemi, which void in Garbarino Flores, and the rest of the devices that I will wrap them. Also my Huawei GW, octa-core, which I void with the same credit card, Nativa MasterCard in La Casa del Audio, Floresta or Parque Avellaneda, and went seeking to Flores Place because of they didn't have the module, but they had that same day just had a trip to where they reached to taking my phone that I just paid, and I didn't want to wait, I just wanted my phone. So went, picked it up with the whole of the signed bill of buying, and that was the whole thing, that I will rob it all, and also the identity of mine and the person that I am, and the whole that I exist and the whole that I do, because of they will have me to be first than me. And Diablos Evangelistas, the generados instigadores hijos de perra, deliberates the whole of the mentors for that happen. And the whole of the destructions and genocides and abominations they does, because of I will rob them, but I were putting them in them places because of they were robbing, and 11 September were very noticed for this. They took the 50% of the whole route to the banks once the towers came down. And were the mentoring part and instigators for this to happen, and it's not a lie, and the money were in Buenos Aires and I delivered back, I'm sorry. And also so much more, like a very gold bars and so much more, enough sent to justice, and justice has been done, and they are gonna go to hell. They are abominables, they are criminals, they are sociopaths, they are witches, they are psychos, they are freaks. And is over. Forgive me for this. Now, just a little bit, and I really am not feeling alright, forgive me that. Sorry that. Sorry for that. We're a friend of mine and has nothing to do with what they can say. And that person has passed away in his throne and is resting with Jai, and only remains a family that is really protected and are alright over just a grandfather and a sister of her, and nothing else remains because of they were murdered. Even the realization of what it was a second kid. She had problems, she were murdered. And the realities of this is different, and the realities of this were different. So, sorry for my non-right told, and sorry for the realities as much this turns to keep on making for the best business they can do. Because of our other jurisdictions. And hermetically, nobody will touch them but killing anyone, and anybody sorry for them to have business. And I'm gonna kill them all. Alright, and they will be right here, right now, and I'm gonna show them that they doesn't get where I do not let them do or be. And I'm gonna show them that they are gonna best in hell forever, because of they are no rights except for being the goddamn hell cycles ever been. And they are gonna die like that. Alright, forgive me for this. They are reproducing what I'm doing, and Marica Enferma, Evangelista, and Policía Federal Argentina and the rest, profaning me to repeating every word that I said because of they are experts, forwarding the slut, sorry my terms, of Armed Forces Argentina is telling and making the video. But they doesn't say strong words, they are respectful because of they are the original, and I said this because of I love me, with these words, with all I do. And the reality is for, they needs to show me that it's time for they to convince you now for them to take whatever they want, also your life. Your lives. Build your lives. Sorry, my situation. I'm feeling really sick of this all, and I am at this moment like in a very boiling situation, and I feel just like that. Forgive me, please. All right. Just a little bit. Oh, they have side effects for intrapharynx, which seems like the voice stems. Also the facial gestal PECM with the tartrus cellular madres to healing quick and to show that it's the reason why the scares are so weird and comes very. Oh, I had a moment, I had an accident. Oh, don't you worry, everything's okay, but everyone will be me. So I have 9,006,000 perras enfermas and 17,005,000 perras of the guarda, fuerzas armadas, and then families with a reproduction phase because if I will be a popular, whatever has rights to be, and anyone can be me. Static surgery reproduction. I'm sorry, but it's true. I'm sending the evidences. You got a very elemental CECM with a complete of the recording that I did that. They say that it's forged, and they get there. And already reached, and you already got it. Now, control please, but the ECMTNC, anti-terrorism and war systems, and no one of this, and no drone of this, and nothing to be done, to no one to be, and no one to trespass, please. Every star will show you what this is about. All right, let's open the door. Lie up for some only lay up. I'm aware I let's see vad mot kallar sur snälla and the self no nowhere. Say on the style of Whitney Houston, also this, with the whole ever loving care is best ever, and I'm sorry for the misrespect, for a high for your majesties, for all of you, for her. And I'm sorry for also these things to be like a very weird, abstracted from any, as much they has to say or whatever this is. Always loving her and always loving you all. She was working with us, she was working with me. And she'd been always fighting for everyone and giving the best of what she had the way everyone else. And she was murdered by evangelicals, and it's no lie in this degenerados, trying to rig her out the whole she had and the whole she was, like they have done to me and have done too much of her. And the reality for have done too much others, one not only to Whitney Houston. And the reality for Warden tried to murder her daughter, which she's alive, her is alive. Sorry. And the reality for her family. And she'd said a will about my person, that she will be like in a very delighted or something about if I will ever continue her work or being part of it or just being around because of she heard and she were over what the contact with Israel, the contact with Justice Parties all over and making so much, and she would be really pleased if I would, and I am pleased. Just trying to give him the best. The healing place is not going to give nothing, but the sickness that it's making us suffer, making to me suffer. But as best ever healed here, I promise you I'm going to try my best, and also sharing of her and from her the best ever that we have, and the best ever that I can give you. And also that will be given by Whitney Houston, supposedly with the whole she had, with the whole she said to make whatever she wanted. Her families and her business between as much whatever this involves me as responsibility with the best ever respect for them and for her and for you all. On a best ever care to try to making what I want to be done, what I care to be done. If there is my responsibility to have a decision to take and to choose for. This Diablo Reventado is telling that Whitney Houston said it this way, said it for them and not to me, that they will be me and not I. They too making her at the voice of the career and the whole that I will imitate them also with this, and I will take them voices by making supposed witchcraft over the whole of the sickness that perros evangelistas text making up, over the naive, sick, disgusting prostitutes feel of the whole of the broken shit that they wants to be. And nothing that word demanded or needed to support it. And the Captain disgusting Argentina Kirchner telling that everybody denounces the same and everybody says and there cannot be naively ignored that the possibility to be the whole everybody of them says. And toward this the misrespect for also saying things like she will be just a nigger that will ever be dead because of she will be anything that they wants to say. And so much others in common with such as she had. And not only this, but so much other situations also about my person for everybody to get clear that they will be right and not me. And comes with this that I will be manipulated and instigating against them. Crimes and damages. And I will rob evangelicals, and I will rob and offend everybody, and I will be supposedly the beast. And then, in the whole that they invent, because of will be spiritually, and also nothing but a very attachment for wording symbolic in front of the God himself. And God will move the hand to punishment, but they are all making the whole of the sickness because of God will punish me, and murdering people with that. And trying to rob people with that, like always have been doing, in base of what they are doing to me. So I apologize. I ask you forgive me, please, for I to be exactly the right, like a motivation, like the highest ever expression of them sicknesses for the suffering we are having, and for the offending permanently, which the people I love and which I care for you. And even though they're to saying that this to be manipulation, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, please. I love you so much. Forgive me the words, forgive me the anger, forgive me the nervous state, the neural condition like neurosis, like I want to kill them now. And I don't tolerate no seconds of this. I'm so sorry, please. Forgive me. I'm sorry, LIAISON OFFIVE, Your Majesty, Your Honors. Justice Parties ALL. This day on, we continue. It's finished.